Stan Van Gundy said the Heat aren't in the same ballpark as the Sixers. Don't think I forgot, SVG.
How long ago was that, though? This year?
He said it in the summer, dude. He said it in the summer. He said it in the summer.
Okay.
And that is why I told you I'm tired of Stan Van Gundy and all Van Gundys. And, man, Leroy, I don't know. I could never know what it's like to be in your shoes. I could never know what it's like to be in the gridiron, the man in the arena. But I got to imagine one of the funniest things as a professional athlete is when you whoop a team's ass so bad that they got to hold an hour-long players-only meeting afterwards. Wow.
To be honest with you, that's a you problem. That ain't, I already kicked that ass. I don't need to know what you're doing.
Like sitting here, Jimmy and Tyler, they're skipping on over to whatever good meal they're gonna have. And
by the way, welcome back, Jimmy.
Oh, welcome back, Jimmy. That didn't need a by the way. We were gonna get to it.
Huh?
We were gonna get to it. But like the idea that it was funny. I was like, I left. Jimmy and Tyler had spoken, and I'm like walking like these Sixers haven't talked yet. I see all these poor Sixers reporters like gathered outside their locker room, like, yeah, this is gonna happen anytime soon. And apparently, from the time that I was on the highway, they still hadn't spoken yet. And that's good. Who do you think led that meeting? You think it was Lowry?
I would say Paul George.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Here's the deal. I mean, what are you having a team meeting about? Because you have the biggest man in basketball, the most athletic for his size, doing absolutely nothing, falling all over the floor.
Yep.
So do you have a team meeting so you don't just call him out?
I don't understand.
Because he should be more dominant. He should not be standing underneath the rim and not getting rebounds.
Has anybody in an exit interview ever told him, Joel, what about less falling? Just less. You know, you're not D-Wade. You're the biggest person out there, and you're falling all the time. You just, like, he's sitting there, and he just, like, falls through two Heat players. He nearly kills Jimmy Butler because he's just falling when nobody's looking.
He's the opposite of Shaq. Because remember, Shaq used to say, I'm so big, they can't knock me over, but it doesn't mean that it's not a foul. And my man is all over the place.
Oof.
He's always on the ground.
You know he didn't want to play that game yesterday either because he was like supposedly was going to be out. And I'm like walking around. I'm like I was cutting some Mike McDaniel sound. I kind of got lost in it in the morning, and then I'm looking. I'm like, wait, why is Joel Embiid warming up? I thought he was out. And they're like, nah, intention to play. I'm like, oh, somebody got guilted into it.
Yeah, pretty much. which brings me to my point.
Yeah.
If you're healthy, play. Because you don't know when you're going to get hurt.
Right.
And so the fact that maybe he was guilted into playing means he should have been playing in the first place.
100%.
If you're healthy enough, you play.
100%.
Simple as that. Because you're a guy who always gets banged up anyway. So you get the games you can get.
I was insufferable yesterday as a Heat fan on Twitter, and I'm not proud of myself, to be honest with you. I'm a little embarrassed.
What did you do?
I just, I don't like when I'm boots on the ground. When I'm on my couch, all bets are off. But when I'm boots on the ground and in the Heat's building, I like to hold myself to somewhat of a professional standard.
First of all, don't come on this show and lie.
No, no. I really do. I think of myself. I'm not saying I'm a
building dressed as a dragon.
I'm not saying that I'm a journalist. I'm not saying I'm a journalist, but I am a professional, and I like to hold myself to a professional standard, right? And I gotta be honest with you. I saw this Jared McCain picked one pick after Khalil Ware, and I see the Heat's lead, the Heat's deficit expanding to 20, and this kid's lighting them up like a Christmas tree, and the Heat just can't do anything. And I'm just like, this Eric Spoelstra, like I'm on Twitter. I'm like, I can't believe that the guy picked before this is just sitting on the bench, and this kid is lighting us up. The Sixers must be howling at us and saying they pulled another Achua because they got themselves another steal, and the Heat won't play their first round pick.
Well,
and Eric Spoelstra might as well have turned around, looked up to Media Row, given me double middle fingers, and said to himself, hey, Tobes, you know how you want Khalil Ware? I'm going to Drew Smith him. And by God, this is why he's the best coach ever, because this man used the genius of, my team is exhausted, and I'm going to play 3 people who haven't played in 2 weeks. Right. And it worked. They came all the way back. 3-point deficit going into halftime.
So my question is this, and I always say this about the draft. Just because somebody got picked before you that's really good, the Heat needed size. So I don't care how good they thought that point guard was going to be. Khalil Ware was more attractive to them because they wanted size. That being said, size doesn't matter if he's sitting on the bench. Right. They're all the same size on that.
That thought process is exactly why they didn't draft Tyrese Maxey, because we got Tyler Hero. What do we need him for?
Right, exactly. But that's my point. But that's my point.
But Eric Spoelstra's like, you guys want your first round pick? Because let me tell you something. Jared McCain, he knew they passed on him. That dude was peacocking up and down the court.
He was actually the only one doing anything.
He was. It's true. I mean, Paul George, all he was doing was foul baiting and flopping, and Joel Embiid's barely staying upright. Kyle Lowry ain't shooting. And Caleb Martin can only do what Caleb Martin can do, which is, you can only put so many fingers in the wall to plug leaks, dude. And then
their problem is not players. It's a little bit,
it's a ticker problem.
I think yes, exactly. I didn't want to say it because it sounds,
You know what it's, but you want to know what? And it's only one guy because it trickles down.
Yeah.
Trickles down, dude. Trickles down.
I mean, because Paul George got to look at this guy and go, that's it?
Yep.
That's all we getting out of him?
This is the dominant force everybody's talking about? This is it, huh?
And guess what? What James Harden is saying, I told you.
Yeah. And by the way, every game afterwards, this Joel Embiid's sending a love letter to Jimmy Butler. After the game, anytime Jimmy Butler kicks his ass, which is often, it's always oh, Jimmy's the one that got away. He might as well have a Taylor Swift album about Jimmy Butler and their year together and how much he misses Jimmy Butler. But it's incredible, dude. It was to see Eric Spoelstra just be like, what's my move here? Alec Burks and Drew Smith haven't played in 2 weeks. Jimmy hasn't played in 2 weeks.
I always wonder.
I'm going to play those guys.
I always ask you about this because as a football player, you like to get in a rhythm, right? And one of the things that was so annoying about being on the Bill Belichick team was you could have 25 carries one week and 2 the next. And it was hard to get into the flow of the season. It was hard not to just kind of, whatever. But I always wonder in basketball, because it's rhythm shooting, it's rhythm playing, it's finding your spots, it's guys knowing where your spots are and things of that nature and a cohesiveness that's needed for everybody to get acclimated to everybody else. How does that work not playing for 2 weeks and then going in there and playing?
I don't know.
It has to be because you say, oh, if you're struggling, keep shooting. Or if you're this, you're that. You have no idea what you're going to be when you go in there after not playing for however long.
Kyle Lowry's sitting there and he's watching Drew Smith outplay him. Just lighting it up.
That's not that hard.
That's totally fair. But you know what it is? But let's not forget about the bullying that this guy did to him. Frog boy. You sat there, you bullied Drew Smith all summer.
Now you like Drew Smith.
Oh, dude, you were so mean to him. You're a bully. That's what you've been to him.
You know what bullies do? Bullies pick on the little guys.
Yep.
You picking on a guy that plays 5-10 minutes a game here and there.
Yeah.
That's who you pick on. His impact on last year's season was 0.
Yep.
Yet you still went after him. That's called low-hanging fruit.
It is low-hanging fruit. You are an eater of low-hanging fruit, Frog Boy.
Okay. You could go after Eichenberg for potentially
He's
poking
a
eyes.
starter.
No way. Okay. What I'm saying is this guy bullies a 40. So you're a fan of Jake Paul then?
It would be like me going after Andrew Meyer, the Dolphins undrafted lineman who never plays. I'm like, oh, way to keep the UTEP bum around. That's been you. That's been you.
That's
Bullying Drew Smith.
Marcos, he got a point.
No
You
way.
are going like
No way.
the guy
This is
didn't
way
play a lick of basketball last year, and
Yeah.
all year you pounded him. Like
No,
that's
there's-
bullying. That's bullying.
And by the way, beat science. I mean, came back from an ACL tear from that stupid court that's raised up
How
in
did he beat
Cleveland.
Science because he got healthy?
Yeah, he beat science. He came back.
Mr. Glass. Imagine falling off a court and getting injured. Like
Dude, that's a
like
that's a
2
steep,
inch.
hey, that's a steep drop, dude.
I don't understand it.
And like,
Why would they do that? They had
it's like,
LeBron.
they might as well put that on the edge of a mountain.
No wonder they're undefeated. They just fear death like American gladiators.
But I don't understand why they have to do that.
I don't either. I don't get it.
Like
I don't. They're the only court that's an NCAA thing. I don't see anybody else do
they
that.
used to, yeah, that's the NCAA thing. Yeah,
Ah.
which is also frightening.
Mm-hmm. Very weird. Spo, this is him on his faves. Drew Smith.
Really active, tonight. Again, I'm not even gonna look at the box score, but he just does a lot of things that allow your better players be who they need to be. And defensively, he's a pest. He really is. So it's not necessarily about his stats or his scoring. All that stuff is getting better. Especially his shooting. But it's all the intangibles that every team in this league needs. And he provides a lot of those.
How come all the other intangibles on all the other teams can shoot lights out from 3? You see, Drew shoots it from his face.
It's a strange motion. I give you that.
He shoots it from his face.
It's a very strange motion.
Because he's trying to get around his gums as he launches the ball.
I don't like what you're doing. I don't like what you're doing.
He scored 10 points against a senior citizen. All of a sudden, you want to praise him with another
You
stat.
got to admit that him with the cut hair is a different edge to him.
No,
It's a little, he's a little more aerodynamic. I'll give you that. He plays defense better.
Oh, he's a good defender.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a good defender. He's a good passer. Offense, it'll come.
Alec Burks.
he took some Terry Rozier minutes.
Oof.
Basically, they said to Terry, if you're not going to score, you don't play good enough defense. We need to.
Oh, Terry was out last night, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, but
listen, there's fans already who want to be like, Drew Smith in the starting lineup.
But that's always been Terry's game.
Apparently, Terry's
He'll go cold. He'll go cold for a while, and then all of a sudden he'll get hot.
Well, it was really strange. Like he was ruled out yesterday. Oh, bless you, dude. Are you all right?
Thanks. I didn't know whether to grab the napkin or push the button.
He like apparently was hiding a foot injury from them, and then just like, yeah, my foot hurts, and then they're like, all right, and so he's out.
I listen, not for nothing, but I understand that, right? The worst I felt was when Robert got hurt, and then I got hurt the next game. That's why you're there. That's why I'm there. I'm there for one job. To be able to play the 3 or 4 games Robert gonna miss and to do the stuff I do during the game. Right? So yeah, I understand that. So you suck it up more than you probably would, but the problem is sometimes it affects your play. And then you got to make a better decision because you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting the team.
Great point by Dade South. Margot said after poor Savon Ahmed too. Yeah, RB4. Good by you, dude.
Yeah. Okay, and where is he now?
Where is he now? To pick him. You really know how to pick on him.
Well, where did you expect RB4 to be?
I don't know. We could have used that spot for center long snapper hybrid.
But believe me when I tell you this.
Yeah.
With what was happening to the offensive line at that time, if there was somebody available, they would have gotten him. That's the problem. Everybody always says, let's just go do this. Let's go do that. You think they're not scouring the internet for somebody who's available? And sometimes it's not, the guy that you would replace him with or the guy that you would bring in isn't good enough. So
that's not
you
the
just
problem,
stay
though.
back.
The problem is they're in love with these players. They're in love with Drew Smith. They're in love with Salvin Ahmed.
No
reason.
That's not it.
He
That's
must have
not
bought like
it. Here,
pizza in one day.
think about
Everyone's
this.
like, that's the pizza guy. We can't
Marcos, you're way off.
pizza.
All right.
Chicken wings.
They might not be in love with those players, but the reality of it is they like him more than anybody else they could bring in to take his place. That's you can't just say, oh, he's not good enough, let's get rid of him and bring somebody else in, because that guy might not be as good as the guy you got rid of.
Drew Smith took away minutes from Nico yesterday at point guard.
What?
Imagine that, huh? Nico at point guard, running up and down.
So wait. Hold on. I'm getting to the bottom of this.
He's like magic.
Frog Boy.
Tall point.
Did you have the Nico over?
No. I did have the Tyler Hero over. Who at first? Are we kidding? 2 points at halftime? Of course.
He's been doing that every game, though.
5 games in a row, he wants to have a prolific scoring night. The one night I bet on him, he wants to have 2 points in the first half.
Jimmy's back.
Thanks a lot, dude.
Had a hell of a third quarter, though. He took that leap over.
Yeah, absolutely. 16 in the third. Yeah, and I was like, he can potentially make it.
But here's the problem.
He did not.
Here's the problem. You ready? It became a blowout.
Yeah, no.
And now you don't need
it changes the way I watch games, because then when we're up by 20, I'm like, come on, Sixers, make it a 13-point game. So Tyler,
I'll tell you who was taking all the shots in that fourth quarter up 20, feeling froggy, was J-Rich, and he was not hitting.
Oh my goodness.
He was not hitting one, dude.
That guy is it's been great. It's been great.
It's weird because you see him shoot, and I always think that has no shot. And then he'll make a couple, right?
I did.
Why does Bam be? We got a lot of guys, even on both teams, just totally destroying the bunnies.
Oh, dude, it's weird.
Goodness. It's weird, isn't it?
It's weird. Yeah, they're like one of the worst layup teams in the league, if not the worst. It's crazy. Also, I did laugh yesterday when J. Rich passed it to Haywood Highsmith, who was out of bounds. I'm like, vintage J. Rich. Still got it going out of bounds. Still got it. We'll take a break. We got more to get into from the Heat game. We got lots to dive into. I went to the Marlins press conference yesterday, the new manager press conference yesterday before the Heat game.
Had nothing to do before you
had nothing to do. Exactly, dude. I had nothing to do.
I knew with that.
Had nothing to do. I'm like, I'll go see what this guy's about. This new Clayton McCullough. So we'll get into that as well. Bruce Sherman said some things. I kind of think he's he might just be like Loria, but like less bombastic.
Less in your face?
Less in your face. Definitely less in your face, but kind of just says the same things.